Welcome to Navigating Directed Writing Tips for Success for Paper 2, Section A, where we embark on a journey to create a discursive, argumentative, persuasive speech, email, report, letter, or article. Remember, the directed writing task now tests how you analyze, evaluate, and develop facts, ideas, and opinions using appropriate support from the two texts given in the paper. As we all know now, the word limit for our directed writing question is 250 to 350 words and marks are 25. So the key points in this video are basic features of every directed writing question. Then we are going to discuss the format of every question. Then we are going to discuss hyperfora, rhetorical question, and embedded clause. Then we are going to discuss forecast technique, and last but not the least, we are going to read a sample argumentative article to explain how we are going to use this forecast technique. Now let's discuss the format of each and every question of directed writing. First of all, we have the informal letter or email. In informal, the letter we have we begin with a letter with Dear John, or the salutation. Then we have the body of the letter, and then normally we have 4 to 5 or maybe a 6 paragraphs, and then afterwards you are going to close it. The closing could be love or with warmest regards. There is a comma and then your name, and beginning of an informal email is from, to, date, and subject. So afterwards then you are going to have the salutation. It can be dear, it can be hi John, and the same body of the informal email, just like the body of informal letter, as we have already discussed in our videos about the informal letter and emails, that their word bank and the words and phrases used in both categories, they are the same. Next we have the formal letter or email. So again the format is that we are going to start with the salutation, that is dear sir. Either it's going to be a letter to the principal or it's a letter to the editor of a newspaper. So we are going to be very cautious about it. Dear sir, salutation. Afterwards we have to leave one or two lines space and body of the letter, and that is again 4 to 5 or maybe 6 paragraphs. And then the important point is how you are going to close the formal letter or email. That is, you are going to, if you know the person, then it's yours sincerely, and if you don't know the person, like a newspaper editor, so you're going to end it with yours faithfully. There's a comma and then your name. So the beginning of a formal email, from, to, date, subject, and the rest is the same, that is body, and closing is regards in formal email. Our next question is magazine article. That is, we are going to have a title, catchy and brief. As we all know, magazine article has a colorful vocabulary. So we are going to give an introductory paragraph that is going to focus on the main topic or the what is being required in the task, and then we have to evaluate the points, that is 5 to 6 paragraphs, and then we have the conclusion, and of course we are going to conclude it with our focus on the task and evaluating and giving our own opinion at the end. Then we have the question, we have a report writing question. The format is headings, subheadings. Heading is there like a magazine article, and in new paper pattern we have the subheadings also. Then we have the opening paragraph. So we have the typical words and phrases, as you have seen and you have watched in the video on report writing. So you can use them. You learn the phrases, words and phrases related to report writing. Then we have the paragraphs, of course 5 to 6 paragraphs, and then the conclusion of a report. Last we have the speech. That is again a very important question. So in a speech we are going to welcome the audience, like for example, good morning dear fellows. Then we have the introductory lines, aim and purpose of your speech. Then the paragraphs again 5 to 6. Sentence starters, these are also given in our video on speech writing. Sentence starters, of course your word bank, your register the kind of language that you are using in report and speech, they are different, so you have to learn and use them appropriately, the words and phrases. Then we have in speech writing we are going to use the forest technique, so we are going to use anecdotes, ask rhetorical questions. Then we have the skillful techniques, emotive language, and for example, as the two examples are given, we are going to write down such vocabulary that is going to attract, because we are going to grab the attention of the reader, of our whosoever our audience. So our language should be, for example, picture this: a person clad in weird outfit. Imagine walking up every day surrounded by fabulous gifts. So use a variety of sentences, avoid lengthy sentences, as speech is, you are going to directly address the audience. So this is the format of directed writing question. Now let's have a quick glance on some of the important tips and techniques related to each and every directed writing question. As you can see on this slide, first, number one, we have letter informal. So you can read what is being asked from you and what you have to think about, and you must keep what are the things that you must keep in mind. Rhetorical question, emotive language, idioms, and then we have the letter on formal. So the some of the features and some of the tips you will need to use. And then on number 3 we have the report. It can be a newspaper report or it can be another report, so you have to think about all these things which are you can read. As you can see, the 5 W's and the third person, the past tense is used, and embedded clauses and indirect speech, mostly it is used. We are going to discuss what are embedded clauses. Next we have the speech. So as we have already discussed in the format, but go through these points again, and these are some of the features which you must keep in mind, like a rhetorical question, hyperphora, anecdotes, that is, we have the forecast or a forest technique we are going to use. Interview can be in the paper 1, but here some of the tips are also given. And then we have the magazine articles. So these are the things you must keep in mind when you are going to write an article.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and share to receive more videos like this in the future.
For our directed writing task, here is one linguistic technique using the acronym forecast. As you can see on this chart, fact, opinion, rhetorical question, emotive language and imagery, colors, alliteration, senses, and rule of 3. So the examples are also given, so you can use them. And then we have the rhetorical questions. Some of the examples. A rhetorical question, as we all know, it is a question for which no answer is expected. Mostly in speeches we are going to use rhetorical questions. So here are the examples as you can see on this slide. And then we have the next term, that is a hyperphora. So what is a hyperphora? It is again a question, asking a question and then immediately answering it. So what does man kill? This is one example. He kills for food, and not only food, frequently there must be a beverage. So both are questions, rhetorical and hyperphora, but the difference between hyperphora and a rhetorical question is that hyperphora requires the writer to provide an answer, whereas the rhetorical question does not. So you can use this acronym, and it will certainly improve your directed writing task. Next, there is an important aspect, and that is an embedded clause. So here on this slide you can see what is the definition. An embedded clause is a type of subordinate clause which is used to add more information to a sentence. For example, as you can see, the giraffe, who was the tallest in the zoo, towered over the other animals. The embedded clause in this sentence is who is the tallest, who was the tallest in the zoo. This does not make sense on its own, as it is dependent on the main clause. Now let's read an article using this forecast technique, and the topic is Should mobile schools be allowed in schools? As you can see on this slide, that the body paragraph using the first one, that is the fact, and you can see the introductory lines on this in the beginning, and on next we have the opinion. So opinion can be included like this, as you do pause the video and read it carefully, and try to use this acronym. And this is the body paragraph using opinion, and then we are going to have the third paragraph, that is we are going to use the rhetorical question and emotive language. So as you can see the beginning, should mobile phones be allowed to jeopardize the sanctity of the classroom where knowledge is meant to flourish and minds are molded? Remember that rhetorical questions, they do not normally require an answer. So this is how you are going to use this technique. And then according to the forecast technique, we have the colorful vocabulary, statistics, and rule of three. So you can see the examples here. Rule of three is there, the colorful vocabulary is in this paragraph. So read it carefully and try to write like this to elaborate and evaluate your points in the directed writing question. And as you can see, this is the continuation of the same colorful vocabulary and rule of three. Examples are given. So this is how we are going to use the forecast technique in our directed writing question. Now let's have a quick recap of our today's lecture on navigating the directed writing tips for success for our paper 2 section A, as we have discussed the basic features of directed writing question, the format, and then we have the learned the forecast technique or the aphorist technique, and then we have the sample argumentative articles. So this slide you can see again, it is the rhetorical question stems. So this is going to help you to begin your rhetorical questions. Then we have the again the technique that we have already discussed, and the writing key features of writing to persuade. So this is the technique that you're going to use, a forest technique or the forecast technique. Then we have the phrases for report writing. They are going to help you in when you're going to deal with a report writing question. And then last but not the least, we have some of the main points that you must consider when you're going to attempt a directed writing question. As you can see on this chart, introduce the topic in a short, lively opening paragraph which shows the examiner you understand the key features of a speech, letter, or article. Every point within a main paragraph should stem from the text, the given text. Include at least one sentence of evaluation after each point. Weigh up the point. To what extent do you agree with it? Are there any pitfalls? Show off your vocabulary in your response, although every word needs to fit naturally. I hope you have learned a lot. So, goodbye and good luck.